Welcome back to Faster and Louder. So if you've been following along on this build, we're like 20 some videos deep now. So there's been a lot of progress made on my 73 Javelin AMX. My goal now is to get this whole thing just road ready. I'm labeling a lot of these videos the road to roadworthiness. And that's because I'm literally trying to do whatever it takes now to get everything just pieced together and get this thing running and on the road. Unfortunately, there's a lot of snags that I've been running into, and you're about to see in this video what kind of snags I'm talking about exactly, but it's a lot of electrical issues this time, and I'm starting to kind of just chase those and figure out what's going on and why I'm having problems. But this whole video is just kind of like one thing leads to another. It's just one thing after another, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, you know, that kind of thing. So without any further ado, let's just get into it, guys. You're probably wondering why I'm doing this. Well, it's a little bit of an afterthought here, but there's like a seam that's behind this, basically the structure of the roof. It's behind that. Here, let me see if we have some light on, shed some light on this issue. Well, you might be able to see a little bit of surface rust back in there. That was stuff that I couldn't get to with the POR 15. I ordered some rust encapsulator from Eastwood, I think it is. I used to have some. I tried to use it for a similar but different purpose in one of my older videos. It didn't really work out the way I wanted to, but I think that was mostly because I was trying to use this weird like fitting thing that they give you to like fit in weird spots. I think it would work good like if you have an enclosed like tubing or something that you're trying to spray, but it was super messy. So basically I'm preparing to use that again, and I'm gonna just spray it back in there as best I can. So I taped up a lot of the holes and everything, and then I have plastic underneath the blanket here. I believe this is flame retardant blanket. I guess we'll find out. All the wires that were connected to the fuse panel are now disconnected, and my goal here is to get them all loose and put new connectors on them. So I'm gonna probably extend the wires just a little bit to give me some future serviceability to those, and then they'll all get new spade connectors, and the female spade connectors, and they'll all connect to a brand new used fuse panel that I have on the way, thanks to Mr. Brad from, sorry if I'm wrong here, but I think he's from Michigan. He's helping me out big time. He had an extra fuse panel just kind of laying around in some boxes that he had, and he has some wiring also. I'm basically gonna take the wires loose from the connectors that are in there right now, and I'm going to strip the ends of them, get some clean wire to work with, and then I'm going to put them in a butt splice, like a shrink wrap kind, so that way I can just use a heat gun and shrink wrap them on there, like crimp them and everything. It's not as good as soldering, but soldering like upside down in a tiny little space like that under the dash, I'm just not even gonna attempt it because I know it's gonna be painful and it's not gonna be pretty. So I am just gonna do the heat gun / crimping method for that. For the actual connectors that'll be going to the fuse panel, I'm gonna do those ahead of time on a bench, get the spade connector on it and everything, and then get those prepped to put in that butt splice underneath the dash. So I think that's pretty much the best approach that I have for this. I'm just gonna be very careful that I'm using the correct wires and stuff, so I'm just gonna be doing like one at a time on that, just to make sure that I'm not messing up anything. I am making some progress with redoing some of the wiring underneath. I took a minute to put the new connectors on, and it looks, well, it doesn't look great. There's some explaining that I can do, but I'm gonna save my breath, and you're just gonna have to take my word for it that I know what I'm doing. So this is all gonna go back. I have my own little coating system that I stole from the fiber optic industry, and this will be back together exactly how it's supposed to be. I'm gonna have zero problems whatsoever, for sure. But there's the harness over here It's the, I don't even know what you call these, like a 6-gang wire terminal thing. Except there's 2 wires in some of these, so they have to be twisted together and put into a new female spade connector. So that part might be a little bit interesting. I've never done that before. So, you know, there's always a first time for everything. I feel like 80% of this project is a first time for me. I haven't done the vast majority of these things before, so I'm feeling pretty confident in myself at this point. I have to stop tonight because I'm waiting on a lot of the new shrink fittings, heat shrink fittings. I don't know what anything's called. I don't know. I'll have more, is what I'm trying to say, in the mail here pretty soon, and I'll be able to finish this job. And right around the same time, I should be getting that new fuse panel from the guy on Facebook. So I'll be able to put everything back together and give it a whirl and see if anything changes. I have a feeling that it's not going to make much of a change, but at least I know that that part of it will be good and I don't really have to worry about it anymore. At that point, if I don't have any dash lights or anything, I'm thinking that it's probably the circuit, the weird like paper plastic circuit thing that goes on the back of the dash. I did find one on eBay for like $60 or $70 or something, so that might be the route that I end up taking, but I'm really hoping that I can get this all back together and then, like Viola, I have lights in the dash. That'd be pretty sweet. I've spent way too much time trying to spray some seafoam deep creep into this and get the light bulb out of the socket, but they're welded in with rust. Like I don't know if you can see how much corrosion is there, but check out this other side. I tried pulling the bulb out and the bulb pulled out of the metal base and the metal base is stuck in there all mangled. I cannot for the life of me pull this out of here. So the next logical explanation is just get some off of Rock Auto. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. They're like $4 a piece on there. I'm just gonna get those. I'm gonna solder them up and call it good. I have acquired some equipment / tools to help me clean some of the connectors on the inside. At least I'm hoping so. As you have already seen, I'm replacing some of the connectors, or pretty much all the connectors that were going to the fuse panel. There are some connectors, I don't even know if you can disconnect it. I'm assuming you can disconnect the entire harness from the inside. So I'm gonna try to do that and try to make sure all those connections are clean because it looks like it's pretty dirty. So I did get some lime away. It says it gets rid of some rust. So we'll try that out. But these are some of the tools I got. This is actually for spray gun cleaning, which is fine because I need some new brushes anyways. And then these are connector remover tool things. You just basically pop a little pin in there and it should make that very easy, getting the connectors out of like little, or getting the wires out of connectors I should say. And then I got a ton of spade connectors here and a ton of butt connectors. So I should be good to go. I also got, this is technically a carburetor cleaning kit. It also says spray gun cleaner on it too, that's funny. Anyways, I have a lot of stuff to clean connectors. So I shouldn't really have much of an issue doing that, at least I'm hoping so. So yeah, I'm still waiting on that fuse panel. I think that's gonna be here tomorrow. So if I can get this nice and cleaned up and maybe do some of the additional new connectorizing, hopefully everything will be all set and ready to go for tomorrow. I can just pop the fuse panel in there, connect everything to it, and all the lights will come on a dashboard. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so to answer my own question a little bit here, you can technically take this off of the firewall, but it isn't really going to do anything for you. You can see the back of these. That I can try to clean up a little bit, but the other side of this is what I already cleaned. So there's really no point in trying to get it loose, I guess, unless I really just can't get this cleaned up at all. So, I mean, that is a distinct possibility. So I'm gonna try to make it so it doesn't make a complete mess in here trying to clean it up. I gotta figure out the best way to go about doing this, because this is gonna be a little tricky. I do have some contact cleaner, but it's not here yet. I think it's gonna be showing up tomorrow also. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna try that lime away stuff, and I'm gonna spray it down a little bit, let it sit, and I'm just gonna get in there with some of those pipe cleaners and just try to be kind of gentle and just see if I can, you know, get out some of that grime. It's really hard to get in here enough to do anything, but oh boy. I need it on jet. I'm serious about this. Oh, never mind. It's just on or off, so that's your choices. Oh, this is foamy. That might be a good thing. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. Let it break up some of that junk. I want to be pretty gentle. I don't want to get in there and mess up any connectors and make stuff loose that I don't want loose. And you know, if this stuff does actually dissolve some rust, then sweet. I do know that I'm getting power through the connector though. I did have the test light on here, so we're good on that. But you know, any reduction in resistance due to dirt or rust or whatever, that's gonna be a good thing. So okay, so for anyone who hasn't used these before, like myself, it looks like a key shape, right? So it has the bigger part of the blade, I guess, at the near the base of it. So I was doing this sideways going in. So you're supposed to go on the front of it. This would be the front of it. And then I thought that you would just go sideways in there. This is really hard to show. I thought you go sideways in like that, but it turns out you need to go just right in the middle, like straight up and down with it, and then it just popped it right out like nothing. So that was pretty cool. I might actually try it like this. It's probably really the way you're supposed to do it. Everything that was connected to the fuse panel has new connectors on it, and I've labeled everything, taken pictures beforehand, so this shouldn't be a big deal. There was an orange wire, this one up here, that was laying dead, just kind of hanging there. When I had everything hooked up and trying to get some lights on the dash, and I came to find out that it's very likely that wire is what gives you pretty much all the lights on the dash. So that is wired, I believe, correctly now. So this should all be good. This is all from the steering column, by the way. This is the turn signal switch where it goes into a harness underneath the dash, basically. So that is what all that stuff is. This is like an adapter harness, basically, to use this older style switch. Well, I should say this is the newer style here, going to the old style harness over here on the side of the column. Anyways, that's all figured out. So now I'm going to show you something new that I'm going to try to get done tonight. So as I mentioned before on my last video, I was gifted this fuse panel. Well, not gifted, but it was very affordable. And thank you again to Brad for this. It's awesome. So it's in pretty nice shape. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And I actually found a little tip on the Facebook group that I'm on. It's the AMX and Javelin, I think it is, or Javelin AMX, something like that. One of those big groups. And they basically say that you should just wire these entire boards here on the fuse. So I'm going to take a look at it again to see exactly what he does. I'm assuming you stop short of soldering the actual blade there, because you want to be able to slide onto the female connector still. So I'm just going to clean these up, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use my new soldering iron. It's been a while since I've soldered anything, so this might be a little interesting, but I feel pretty confident, and I think that I can get this done. So let's give it a shot. tried to get it clean with a regular brush, and I ended up just using the wire brush adapter tool, whatever, this thing on the drill, and got it nice and clean. I'm gonna wipe this down one more time since I just touched it with my hand. But I'm gonna get this nice and clean with some electronic cleaner. I'm gonna warm this up, and I am gonna start basically just resurfacing every board on here and just making it so the electricity can conduct a little more evenly throughout these, instead of like, you know, so pointedly on these, I guess you'd call them rivets or connectors or whatever they are. You don't have to do the entire thing, which makes sense. I mean, I thought that was a little bit overkill to do the entire circuit, whatever you want to call it, on each one. All you really have to do is solder the top and bottom of each of these rivets to basically just get a better connection to the actual metal. So you want to try to get on both sides, which is going to be in the actual fuse connectors also. So that might be a little bit tricky, but shouldn't be too bad. This side will be easy. I'm just going to give it a quick spray down here again. Pointers for soldering, and came back, and it's still not great by any means, so don't get your hopes up, but this is what it looks like now on those rivet points. So I basically just made sure they were soldered a little bit better. I might even go over that one again. I tried soldering on the other side for that one, which I did, but it got so hot that it actually started to melt off the solder on that side. So I might have to fix that before I put it in. I'm still waiting on the little like acrylic piece or whatever it is that's gonna go between the fuse panel and the actual bracket. So I'm not really doing anything with the fuse panel unless I can find something. So I don't know. I might look around the shop and just try to test this out at some point if I have time. I started on another thing at the same time, slightly related. I got new sockets for the reverse lights, which is these. I guess I'll pop it out. And I already popped the LED light in there, which is 1156 replacement. I had to kind of spread out those little connector things that basically grab onto the actual housing. It's still a little bit loose, so I might try to figure out some kind of solution for that. The other ones here, the brake lights, I just popped these out, cleaned them up a little bit, and then put the new LED lights in those. And now I am on to this side. I'm going to wire the new socket on this side and do the same thing with both of these, and then those should be good, hopefully. So I'm going in, cleaning up the ground wire on these also, because the ground wire connects to the actual outside of the socket, whereas these new ones are wired in, they're hardwired, so you don't have to worry about connectors getting dirty, which is nice. I do have a small list of small things to accomplish ahead of actually trying to test out the electrical everything in this car again. I do want to go back and wire wheel the connection from the engine to the actual frame or body of the car. So I'm going to go ahead and do that after this too. Did on the other one, I'm going to kind of just bend these back a little bit so I can have a little extra attention. Okay. Wiring thing over here. And kind of just pop in place. Those go in there. Viola. Oh, nice and sweaty. You know, it's like 90 degrees in here and I'm using a heat gun. Anyways, what I was thinking about doing while I was doing all this stuff was I kind of want to like clean up some of this. I'm not going to go too crazy on this. I'm not doing restoration anything, so it's just not worth it. But what I was thinking is I might just clean this up really quick here, get all the loose stuff out, vacuum it up, and then I have some of that rust encapsulator, so I'm going to use some of that, and I'm just going to kind of make this look a little bit better, and you know, at least slow down some of the rot back here. That would be nice. So I'm going to do that really quick. While we are waiting for the trunk spray bomb paint job to dry up and everything, I actually found a little tote lid here. The box is long gone, so what I did was I cut out a little piece of plastic that's going to act as my insulator. So I'm basically just going to drill a couple holes so this can be mounted, and I'm going to try it out. I'm going to wire up everything. I still need to like wire wheel that body ground, so I'll do those couple things and then we're going to try this out and see what happens. I'm trying to reserve my excitement because I feel like I'm going to be let down again, but we're about to find out. Okay, that should be what I want. Should probably be using a bench vise or something. Okay. Got holes in the plastic. It turns out I had one connector that wasn't wanting to cooperate, so I had to redo that one. I'm getting ready to plug it in right now, and then it's going to be the moment of truth. Okay. Still nothing. Well, I think I have everything plugged in. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing to the turn signals. Don't hear anything. I did some internet research and asked around on the pages on Facebook and whatnot, and it turns out that I had a bad fuse. Now, I'm not really sure why that is just yet, but it looks like it's because I didn't have the little dimmer switch, the foot dimmer switch thing on the floor. I didn't have it plugged in. So I plugged that in, and I'm gonna replace this fuse, and I'm gonna see what happens. The fuse that blew was the one that controls the backup lights, and I think that it's tied into the headlights and everything too. I'm not totally sure, but probably can't see that, but it definitely burnt out the fuse. So I just plugged that fuse in. I'm gonna hook up the battery really quick. Put this on here. Okay. Take a gander here. Yep, still nothing. Hold on. I don't see anything yet. All right, well, I think this is pretty much concluding the very first part of the electrical odyssey that this is. It's been a lot of problems I did not foresee. I did end up ordering a lot of those parts that I was talking about. I got the headlight switch, there's the dimmer switch, then there's the 2 wiper toggles. So there's 4 toggles total up here. I'll just show you those really quick. So there was the 2 that were plugged in there, and then there's the 2 over here. There's one for wipers, and then there's one for the washer. I'm gonna replace both of those also while I'm in there. I'm getting ready to basically just put everything in there. So when everything does finally come in, it's just gonna be a matter of installing everything. And that'll be the next part of this whole electrical odyssey. I did learn in the process of everything that you have to have the headlights on in order to have the panel lights on. Makes sense, right? But they're basically fed through each other somehow, or the panel lights basically get their light or the power from the headlight switch, I believe. Something goofy like that's going on. So I guess we'll see how that whole thing turns out. And then there's a printed circuit, they call it. It's behind the dash. I have mentioned it before, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and replace that also. And there was a used one or two that I did find, but I just decided, since I got a really smoking deal on all these switches, I just decided to go ahead and get a brand new circuit for that. I'm just trying to eliminate potential issues. You know, the circuit that goes behind the dash, it's originally a flimsy design. Somebody basically re-engineered the whole thing and they're making them. So that's really cool and very uncommon for AMCs to have somebody do something like that. So I'm happy about that. So if you like this video, please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Look out for future progress on this, guys. Until next time, later.